I get a call from a friend. She's like, I have an invitation for WOBI. Okay, who's going? Simon Sinek. What? Wow, what a day. I was in the car, like I got as every morning to the office, 9 in the morning. I left the office because I needed to do an errand outside of the city. I get a call from a friend and she's like, hey, I have an invitation for WOBI. It's like, okay, who's going? Well, there's going to be a lot of speakers and Simon Sinek. What? Say what? And of course, like I ran home, got changed, and was the first one in the event. I wasn't the first one in the event because I was late. But oh my God, like if you saw my last video on YouTube about my staycation, you know, I was about to go in burnout. I decided to take a week off to work on myself and detach from entrepreneurship and motherhood. It was an excellent week because, you know, entrepreneurship is something creative. It's a way to look for alternatives and solutions to problems all day long, regardless the industry you work in. And receiving this call, then step back, but I've been working on this like abundance meditation and abundance workshop for a week. Like I was feeling really blocked, and receiving this call today meant so much to me. Spending the entire day with such high level worldwide speakers speaking about innovation, entrepreneurship, how to build teams. It was like, wow.
Thinking is about your purpose, about your legacy, about the contribution that you're there to make. The way to figure out your big game is to just ask the question, what is the best possible outcome in this scenario? His study looked at leaders rising into executive positions of power. What do you think was the number one thing they found that was the number one abuse of power? Not using it. Be in your power. Use your power for good. Because when you're in your power as a leader, you raise everyone around you.
Are you the thing that people are comparing their other competitors to? Are you the lead product with the mind share and everyone's like, this is the one? And so you always want to make sure you understand at the right point of time when you need to win mind share, the early stage in the market, and keep mind share, because that's what the corporate offices are going to think about. They're like, if they're reading about it all the time, and they're like, when it comes to the purchasing desk, who is this company? I've never heard of them. Why aren't we working with this company? I hear about them all the time. They seem more successful. Now, if a product doesn't have AI, you're not going to get finance. No one's going to buy it. It's like whatever. So again, just like General Magic, it all depends on the timing of how you market it and the story you tell. AI has been around. There are incredible uses of AI, and they have been working for 10 years, 15 years. They're all behind the scenes. What we're now seeing is this crazy sci-fi way of companies talking about artificial general intelligence, right? AGI. Well, I'll tell you right now, AGI is bullshit. What we really have been doing, and what we've been doing successfully for over a decade now, is artificial specific intelligence. It's productizing artificial intelligence in a way so you know what you're getting. Today, what you're getting with ChatGPT, it's really fun, and it works really well in certain settings, especially as consumers, but if you're trying to adopt AI in your business, you better know what it's been trained on, the data it's been trained on, you better know how it hallucinates or if it doesn't. You need to know all these things, because if You're going to put your brand on the line. You need to know what it is you're hiring, because what you're doing is you're hiring someone. If you don't know what schools they went to, if you don't know what grades they got, if you don't know what experience they have, you wouldn't hire them. Well, people are just signing on with these artificial general intelligence things, and they don't know anything about them. You have to look at artificial specific intelligence, not general intelligence. That's a bunch of science fiction crap.
When a resource becomes more valuable, we tend to perceive it as scarce. So as our time becomes worth more money, becomes more valuable, we tend to feel like we do not have enough of it. So in our research, we study both material affluence and time affluence. And we assess material affluence, people's feelings of material affluence, by asking them to rate their agreement with statements like, I've had enough money to buy the things that are important to me. We also measure their time affluence with statements like, I've had enough time to do the things that are important to me. Now, in the world of work, I think we're used to focusing on employees' material affluence, but time affluence matters.
Living in uncertain times. What advice you'd be giving C-level leaders who are trying to navigate their businesses through this period of uncertainty?
I always get a kick out of when people say, in these uncertain times, because all times are uncertain. There's never been a time that was certain. I think when we run our businesses out of fear, and we make fear-based decisions, we tend to make worse decisions than when we make them based on vision, cause, inspiration, purpose, and the like. Business is a creative enterprise. I think we forget that. And creativity is the ability to find order in chaos. And if things don't go according to plan, what's the old joke? If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, right? Like nobody's business goes according to plan. It doesn't happen. There's supply chain issues, there's economic issues. The weather can upset business. Even just people coming to work on time. So I think the joy of business is not trying to make the plan work despite the chaos. It's trying to find order and creativity in the chaos. I say this to every new employee who comes on board. I say, number one, you're a part of something bigger than yourself. And number two, I have one expectation of you, which is you take yourself on. We will give you some of those resources, and you have to seek out some of the others. And whether you stay with me for a short time or a long time, I expect you to leave here a better version of yourself. And we give them training. And we give them patience. And we let them try again. And we look at other things other than just performance. And I expect my leaders to lead in the way in which I think companies should be led. So we promote people based on performance, which doesn't necessarily make them good leaders. And yet we don't even consider the qualities of good leadership when we're promoting. Like, you're a great salesperson, I'll make you a sales manager. Those are two different skills.
A strategy, very, very simply, a strategy document is basically a set of decisions that link investments to value creation to a return for you. If you want to make sure the bags of money out at the end is bigger than the bags of money at the beginning, what must happen? Well, it goes through your customers. It doesn't go through your costs. It doesn't go through your R&D. It doesn't go through your competitors. It goes through these people here in the middle. They are the only one in this ecosystem that is capable of perceiving what you've done with your investments, thinking, wow, this is great, or this sucks, hopefully this is great, and then saying, here, have some money, you did a good job. So if the principle is no value left behind, what I've got to do is I've got to do an excellent job understanding what happens in the minds of my customers, whether it's an individual or a business, depending on what sectors you are.
And what happens when people feel excluded? They cover important aspects of their identity. In many aspects of our lives, we stereotype. It allows us to bring in information very quickly and process it. It can be helpful. It can also be harmful. You change a stereotype by being exposed to a counter-stereotypical exemplar, someone who's not demonstrating that behavior or that stereotype. So to the extent that you spend time around people who are different, who are counter-stereotypical exemplars. That will change your stereotypes. What are more examples of stereotypes? People from the Middle East, with Asians, when we look at studies across all different nationalities. What about gender? Transgender, there's bias in studies they've found, and also motherhood penalty. Women who are mothers. We have stereotypes about, can a mother actually travel as much? Will they be as devoted or dedicated or whatever? Another example, though, of this bias that I want to share with you is these days we care so much about entrepreneurship, but how are we treating people differently? For instance, when they're doing pitches. In this study, they showed people the same pitch. All they did was change the voice from being a male voice to a female voice. They also changed the attractiveness of the person giving a pitch. And here's what they found. For male entrepreneurs, they were actually looking at the likelihood of receiving funding. For male entrepreneurs, if you were more attractive, you were more likely to get funding. But in general, males were more likely to get funding than females. Same exact pitch, but these were the differences. And male pitches were rated as more persuasive, fact-based, and logical when it was a man's voice versus a woman's voice. So does this mean we should remove the humans from hiring if we know that we're all biased? Maybe. I mean, we have AI. You're going to hear a talk on AI later. But what do we know? That these algorithms are embedded in them are these biases based on historical data. So no, the answer isn't getting rid of the humans, it's getting better as humans in making these decisions. As a society, we need to demand more from our leaders and make sure that they are being ethical and
What happened to all the 200 individuals that used the GPT versus the 200 that didn't? And here, I find some comfort. So the results are that when you look at the collective level and you compare the ideas, you remember those blue that, did not have AI and how seemingly worse they were? Yes, they were evaluated as less creative. But if you look at the diversity of their ideas, it's spread. Okay, when you look at the ideas of those with AI, you see how condensed it is, which means that their ideas are more similar to each other. So now we are seeing a boost, because each individual is becoming better. But over time, if all of us use these tools in a naive way, the way most of us are using, our ideas will become more similar to each other. And that
happy note is that we have more power than we think. We have more choice than we think. I truly believe in it. Now, I'm not saying we'll have it in 5 years from today. In 5 years, we may not have the same power that we have now. We may not be able to choose even whether to use it or not, because it will all be kind of in the Internet of Things and one. And I see it already in some hospitals that the doctors don't even have a choice whether to use it or not. But now they have a choice. You have a choice. Consuming is voting. When you consume any technology, you are voting to which one you're giving power. So you have a power to consume, to negotiate, to rethink, to decide when to use it. So we have the power. Technology, has way too much power. But we also have, and we have to regain, take kind of the control back to us, take the driver's seat. We are the drivers. We should use the technology and not the other way around.
When you put that sequence in the right order, you're really turbocharging your ability to innovate, to create, to transform, and to lead with more impact. Thank you for this time, and wishing you an amazing journey of leadership, of purpose, and of creativity. Thank you very much.